episode number 22 of 10K on the Bay, my journey to 10,000 live listings on eBay. Today I want to talk about why it's impossible to determine how much money you can make on YouTube, or I'm sorry, on eBay. Today I want to talk about why it's impossible to determine. Sorry about that, just checking out the audio. Okay, so today I want to talk about why it's impossible to determine how much money you can make on eBay. What's up, Errol? The reason why it's impossible to determine how much you can make on eBay is because there's way too many factors. So for the sake of this video, we're going to assume a 1% sell-through daily, which means that you're going to sell 1% of the items that you have listed daily. What's up, Gina? So basically, we're going to assume that if you have 100 things for sale, you'll sell one per day. And the factors that will affect this are having higher quality stuff, better listings, lower prices, better selection. That's how you're going to increase your sell-through. Awesome. Thanks for catching me live, guys. So we're going to assume a 1% sell-through rate. If you're going to take eBay seriously, I think you should try to have a 1% or at least a 0.5% a month, meaning if you have 100 or 200 items, you sell one a day. But honestly, if you don't have a 1% sell-through rate, you might lose interest because it just gets a little boring if you don't sell. If you don't sell at least one item per day, you might lose interest and give up. So try to get to at least 1%. There are definitely sellers that are 2 or 3%. And just to give you an idea of what this means, if you were to sell 3% of your items every day, you'd basically sell all of your, or you would sell 100% of what you have listed. Meaning if you had 100 items for sale, you sold 3 a day. After a month, that's like 90. That's most of your items selling every day. So 3% is like incredible. Some stores actually do that, and almost without exception, they are the low-cost leaders. The people who do auctions is super cheap. That's how they can get this number closer to 3%. What's up, everyone? So I just wanted to break down a couple of different models. We'll go into some Q&A also if you guys have questions in a little bit of this. What I've sort of figured is just a couple of ideas I have on how much time you put in the eBay and how much you can really make, because I keep getting these questions and I really just want to refer people to this video. So you can't really answer, sorry, my iTunes is going off. Can't really answer how much you can make because it depends on basically tons of different factors, including how long it takes you to source items. Now I'm going to make this green because this is the most, in bold, this is the most critical factor in this whole thing, which is what's your sourcing time. So if we're assuming these different profit items like $10 profit, 20, 30, 40, 50, they take different amounts of time to get something. Like for example, if you are looking for items that you make $50 on, you can't get very many at the thrift store because it's just not possible. So if you're doing Craigslist or local meetups, or you have a wholesale supplier of something, that's going to take longer than just going to the thrift store and looking for items that are only $10. And that's how, when I look at this, if you're going to be a thrifter, okay, you're going to be in the $10 to $20 range. This is sort of a thrifter person right here. So meaning you're going to go to the bins, or you're going to go to Goodwill and look for something that you're going to net $10 or $20 from. Now, if you see here, people who are doing it full time, if you're getting $20 an item, this is assuming that it takes you 14 hours of sourcing time at the bins or Goodwill to find 70 items a week, you're going to be making $5,600 a month, which is above the monthly profit, above the household income in the United States. So in theory, this is what I'm thinking. If you did 51 hours a week, you could make $5,600 a month on eBay full time if you could source items that are $20 profit. And so it's difficult. It's difficult to get there. But this is where I can see people. If you wanted to just quit your job, I would wait until your store has 1,000 items in it that you're making $20 profit. Because if you can do what Gary Vee said and hustle with your girlfriend or your friend or whatever and get to this 1,000 item mark by yourself, then when you quit, if you're at this metric, then you'll make $5,600 a month and you can actually survive actually more than survive, you'll be above the average of the annual income in, you'll be above the average income in the United States. What's up, listeners, sisters? Thanks guys for joining me on my live. I'm pretty new to this, but wanted to just give you an idea of what I think it takes to go full time. And so I want to talk about these different variables that make it impossible to determine how much you can make. So I think listing, I just put in here 6 items an hour. And let me change that, 6 items an hour. I know most of you can list faster than that, but just for the sake of some items take longer. And if you can list, you know, the higher margin items take longer to list. I don't know if people are finding the same, but for me, it takes me longer to list something that's worth more because I take more time, I take more pictures. You know, in this $10 to $20 range, you'll see a lot of the big sellers just have one picture because it doesn't matter if you're selling, you know, you can only polish a turd so much, right? So if you get an item that's only worth $15, do you really need that great of a presentation? Probably not. But if you're listing a, you know, a vintage Harley Davidson jacket that you're going to make at least $50 profit on, you better take more than one picture or people aren't going to pay that premium price. So a lot of you are asking me how you can quit your job. It depends how much money you want to make and what's in your area. If you live in a wealthy area like me and in Oakland, like I could go on Craigslist all day and look for $50 items. I could just be like, hey, you're selling that PlayStation for $80 below comps on eBay? You know, I'll go and get it. But how many of those could I get a day? And this is why I'm moving more towards wholesale or clearance, because like if you look here, this sourcing time I think is the largest variable. How long is it taking you to buy stuff? So if you are like Emma, just another seller, she's spending less time sourcing because she's buying pallets. So you can see at her range in the 10,000 item plus, she's saving at least 140 hours a week, which is literally almost as many hours as there are in a week, just by buying stuff and that's palletized. So she can spend that 140 hours listing instead of buying. So like for me, I don't like shopping too much. So I would rather buy all my stuff from home if possible, or buy wholesale or something, because shopping, this is the variable that I see is the outlier, depending on where you live. If you live in the middle of nowhere, your sourcing time is going to go way up unless you buy online or wholesale or something. Now, I want to explain. Yeah, this is net monthly income on the bottom. If you can get $10 net, I'm going to change this to net so people aren't like tripping. Sourcing is people's favorite part for sure, but look at how much time it takes compared to the other things. So the two things that take the most time are listing and sourcing. So the shipping time and customer service, I'm assuming a 3% defect rate, which means if you have 1,000, or you sell 70, like one of them will have an issue. And I say spend 15 minutes on it. I spend way less than 15 minutes. I just accept it, but it adds up. Customer service questions, whatever. That takes time every week. So even if you're a hobbyist with 250 items, you're still going to be spending 2 hours a week potentially on customer service. So Matt's asking how much is the average pallet and the average cost per item. It depends. Like you could go, if you bought wholesale Gucci, it'd be $200 a piece, right? And these items are going 800 to 2,000, right? I'd say it's like a quarter. It's like 50% to 90% off retail. So there's not a depends on what the range on clothing is huge. So there's a big variance there. But the thing is, there's all these people saying that I shouldn't be teaching people how to sell clothing. But if you think about it, most clothing is in the $10 to $20 range. So like you have to sell thousands of items to make a full-time income for the most part. You gotta be hustling. It's much easier. Like I'd be more afraid of teaching people how to sell cameras or auto equipment or stuff that actually makes more money, because then it's less work. Because look here, you can make $3,500 a month with just 250 items in your store, and that's only 18 items a week. That's a lot easier. And that's almost the annual income of a US household with a store of 250 items. That's easier. If you guys are looking for the easiest way to make a full-time on eBay, just buy stuff that you net $50 and figure out a way to do that, whether it be, you got to think of things that are more expensive like cameras or cell phones. There's a lot of people who make bank selling cell phones and computers and laptops because they make $50 an item. Now, the one thing about that is that it requires more capital to buy the $30 to $50 profit items. If you're going to buy cameras, like obviously you're not going to get a nice camera for less than $100 to $500 to make these larger margins. So you need more money. Buying 250 cameras is kind of expensive, but almost anybody can go to Goodwill and buy 250 clothing items. It's less cost prohibitive. So depending on where you want to go is where you should focus. But I want to talk about for a second where I want to go, which is 10,000 items. So I like having the idea of like 6 staff. I don't know if this is true or not. This is totally me guessing. I'll be selling 700 items a week. And then down here is, if I'm just selling clothing, I'm looking in like the 30K a month range. But once I get here with 6 staff, it takes me the same amount of work. I'm just going to start sourcing items that are higher in profit. As I get more money, I can start buying expensive stuff. If I had 10,000 cameras, I could make $1 million a year, right? This is the monthly income right here. But I need money to buy 10,000 cameras. So that, and maybe a bigger facility, probably more than 6 staff. The only reason why I think this is nice is because I could, it's a really small company. It's considered a micro company. If you get up here, like into the massive operations, like I was listening to Drive Time with Dave, and he says these operations make only like 8% net margin. So like you're making millions and millions, and you're maybe only making, 300 to 500K profit on millions and millions in sales and a huge amount of responsibility and literally over 100 employees. I'd rather be small and nimble and increase the dollar amount. What's up, guys? So how many items actually sell the 250? Okay, so if you're a hobbyist, I'm assuming a 1% sell through. So if you had 250 items in stock, you would sell 2 to 3 items per day. So, which is not very many. A lot of you are impatient and you're like, why haven't all of my items sold? It's just because, it depends on what you have. If you had 250 Nintendo Switches, you could sell all of them in a day if they're priced correctly. You could sell, your sell-through rate could be 100% daily if you have the hottest items at a good deal. That's why if you look at Amazon, the people who sell hundreds of items a day, they're in the top rank of those items, right? And that's why they're able to get, that's how they're able to make millions and millions of dollars, because this sell-through rate is insane. Like, I don't know anybody on eBay with higher than a 3% range, but I know people on Amazon that consistently hit 3% because of the like these things. They have higher quality stuff and the lowest price. Errol Watson says eBay seems to reward you for listing more. I think that's the case with any platform. If the platform sees that you're active, but a lot of it could be psychological too. I see increases on the days I list more, but again, I'm not positive that it's not just because I have more items on eBay. But I do think you get sort of a boost in ranking overall if you list every day. I list every day. And I just want to talk here real quick about how I have seen a lot faster growth from people who do not quit their job. So this is kind of a weird topic, but I don't want to quit my job because I want my income to sustain me while I build my eBay store. And this right here is pretty sexy. And I think you could build this kind of a store and make $10,000 a month while keeping your job. And if you only like sourcing, and this is 28 hours a week where you're looking for stuff, you would need to find people to list for you, which is a lot. 46 hours a week of listing. If you did that by yourself, you'd probably want to commit suicide. That's a lot of listing by yourself, like a lot. The shipping would be fun because you're like counting money. Customer service is kind of annoying, but if you're making $10,000 a month, you can handle it. So I think this 1 to 2 staff area, while you keep your job, is doable. It's hard to get to this 2,000 mark if you have to live off of your income. So if you're taking the eBay profit to buy groceries, you don't have the money to get to 2,000 listings. That's why I don't want to quit my job until I get to 10,000 listings. And I'll have to have a lot of staff at that point. I don't know if that's actually possible or not, but that's what I'm thinking. You're going to need to get to this. You know, you're going to have to get to the point where you have staff before you can really make a legitimate income. Because this is assuming that you're working for 51 hours and not watching Netflix or doing whatever to get it. So when you see these full-time resellers on eBay or on YouTube, they are working their asses off to get to these numbers. Like there's tons of YouTubers in this full-time area, and some people who have a little bit of staff and they get above that 1,000, but it's very difficult to get over 1,000 items by yourself. You'd have to really hustle. Like I know Endless Entrepreneurs Luke has 1,400 full-time, but he, with a job also, he has basically he is eBay or work his whole existence. And I'm kind of like that too, but it's hard. And another reason why Luke is able to get over 1,000 is that his sell-through rate is below 1%. So if your sell-through rate's lower, you can build your store up. And that might be a strategy some of you guys use. If you want to build your store up and you don't want to be hassled with all this other listing, shipping stuff, you can choose higher quality stuff that sells slower, like blazers, or like Ronnie Hart with Heart Pickers talks about how he has a $66 average or something for clothing. Well, that stuff doesn't sell as fast as a $20 Nike pullover. Yeah. See, it's really hard to hit 1,000 listings by yourself unless you're like in an area where sourcing doesn't take very long. If you're in an area where sourcing takes a long time, more than 14 hours, you can't get over that area. The part-time gig is taking over movie time and video game time. Yeah, I mean, like this is like Gary Vee. Like if you want to make the Gary Vee challenge of making 20 grand, you basically need to be right here. You need to be a part-time reseller to make that 20 grand. What's up, Germany? If you want to make this extra $20,000 a year, you need to put in 25 hours a week. So you can't play video games because that's a lot of work. Like 25 hours is basically you can't watch any Game of Thrones, right? That's a lot of time. And if you're in this full-time range, this is a nice little sweet spot in this full-time range at $30 profit. This right here is 6 figures. You guys want to know how to make 6 figures in your eBay store? Get $30 an item, right? And have 1,000 items in stock. Totally doable. It would take some time to really get the quality items, because I think you need to sell items for at least $100 to get 8,400. So let's just assume you're buying them for 30 and selling them for 100. 30 times 1,000 is 30 grand. So you would need 30 grand in inventory to make 6 figures on eBay with this model. And this is all hypothetical. I'm obviously not an expert. I'm just doing the math part and assuming that it will do this. But I can tell you for sure, as you get into these higher levels, there's a million other problems that I don't know about because I'm not there yet. I am right here. I just hit 2,000 listings yesterday. And I have now 4 people listing. So I should get to this 5,000 number really fast, because according to this, if you have 4 people listing, you can move up quickly. But I just hit 2,000 items yesterday. My sell-through rate definitely went down. When I was only at 1,000 and listing myself, the quality of my listings was better. I was also shopping a lot more, and so I could buy really high quality items because I've developed an eye from practicing. But as I'm moving higher, I'm not doing that. I'm buying wholesale or closeouts. I'm buying stuff in bulk, which means that the quality is going down. So of course this 1% is dropping below that until I go back. Thank you on 2,000. Yeah, I'm 20% of the way there. I only have 8,000 more items to list. So also, I need to list 18,000 items this year to end with 10,000. So got a lot of work to do to get there. But just to give you guys an idea of the weekly time commitment it requires, like right now I'm putting 103 hours a week into eBay, right? Obviously I cannot do that by myself, right? So I don't know if anybody can get to 2,000 without help. That's why I'm sourcing people. So You would add, or I think Lister Sisters asked, do I have any tips on hiring people? So right now, I'm just hiring people on Craigslist and interviewing them at Starbucks. So they show up and I'm like, hey, let's go grab a coffee. And if they're weird, then I just buy them a coffee and that's it. And if they're not weird, then I'll have them come over, list in my living room, see how it's like. They're logged in on an iPhone that I have that has no service. So I bought an iPhone on Craigslist that has a bad EIN number. So that could either be because it was stolen or they didn't pay their bill or whatever. So I need to make sure the phone opens. So it's usually the person's phone and they didn't pay their bill. Because the iPhone 6 or better has a really good camera. So I'm using that device. It's logged into my eBay. They don't know my password, but they're using that device to list. So my 4 listers each have either their own iPhone or an iPhone I provided that I bought on Craigslist for them to help list. Let's see, drone view sources, clothing, sports gear, sewing machines, which you repair. So you see here, this is what I don't like. I was buying sports gear and sewing machines, which make bank. Like you're talking, you can make $100 more an item. But the thing is, I didn't even put that in here because I don't do prep time. So you've got to add in a whole nother section of preparation time, getting the items ready. And I am no longer doing that. I'm only buying items that are ready to list. But if you see this, these hours go up once you add in the prep stuff. So Chris Sharp asked, do they push out the listings live or make drafts? So they used to push out the listings live, but I'm not doing that anymore because the business policies are always the same. So it's wasting their time re-entering in shipping, returns, and payment policy. So they draft everything but those 3 policies, and I go in afterwards and bulk edit all the like items to the same shipping policies. I hate ink frog. So it's like, I just want to, this is why I want to staff of 6 people, because I just want to trust the 6 people who work for me. Like the only thing they could do that I think is really damaging is buy stuff with my account. But I get a notification on my phone every time I have a PayPal transaction that I pay for. So it's like they could order something, but they would never get it because I would cancel it before they get it. And there's no reason to sabotage me because I want them to make $20 an hour. And $20 an hour, according to this household income, is not even too bad. If you're a second income in your family and you're making $20 an hour, that's legit. 53 grand is the annual household income, and I want to pay 20 bucks an hour. There's no reason for them to screw me. The thing that would be the worst for my account is if they actually do bad listings. Like that's way worse than them stealing, because then I would lose my eBay selling privileges, which is bad. So that's why I'm taking a little bit more time to hire slowly and fire quickly, because I just want to get people to really take care of it. So I think we've gone over everything. Listing, at least 6 items an hour for most people once you get the hang of it. You're getting 10 hours for shipping, or 10, I'm going to change it to 10 per hour. Assuming you can ship one every 5 minutes or so. Mine, I can ship more than that, but after practice, I'd say 10 per hour is reasonable. This sourcing time thing, you guys really got to think about. Can you show us? I don't give out my eBay store anymore because the last time I did, like 3 people bought stuff and told me to stop making videos on YouTube. So it's a waste of time. So that actually caused me to open 3 eBay stores. So I have 3 eBay stores now because of trolls. So I don't give it out anymore. But I do follow Apparel Save and BHFO. Apparel Save, BHFO. These are 2 companies that I am basically modeling myself after. So if you want to copy their stores, that would be excellent. Let's see here. So when people ask me how much money they can make on eBay, it really depends on how much time you want to put into it. And if you want to work smarter per se, the smartest thing you can do is figure out staff. You have to figure out staff. So Lister Sisters asks, am I afraid of people leaving and starting their own eBay store? I am not, because it's very hard But I mean, one of my listers, Eric, he's probably watching right now. He was one of my listers, right? So that's happened. I literally have one person. I have one person that worked for me and now is watching my videos and starting their own. And you know what? God bless him. That's totally fine. Like this is America. You can do whatever you want. He even texts me for what to do. So like I don't mind. I'm not like in this mentality that you can only do what you want to do. And that guy literally is he's like he just graduated from med school. So like he's gonna be a doctor and he's also doing an eBay store on the side. That's awesome. See, I respect the hustle. I'm not worried about that guy competing with me. It's totally cool. Plus, like, he's going to review ideas with me, and it's fine. Like, there's like there's, I think, 1 billion items on eBay. So my little YouTube channel is not going to destroy the market. So Sam, I'm not going to disclose how many items are on my other 2 stores because those stores are still building up. But in my main store, I have 2,000 items right now. I've got to approve maybe another 100 drafts. The 4 listers that I have right now could, in theory, put up 1,000 listings a week, which would be, let's see here, which would be in this crazy version. Once I'm at 1,000 items a week, I could potentially be above this 10,000 mark, depending on my sell-through rate. Tina says, you really inspired me for setting up systems. You see, that's Reezy texting me. We got to do some, trying to set up a reseller barbecue. Let's see. Yeah, the lean process is awesome, guys. You guys should definitely check out, put this in the chat, the lean, or 2-second lean. If you guys haven't read that book, it's free. It's on YouTube. It's this guy named Paul Akers who I really, really like. And he basically does, explains how to do lean so that you can go into your process and learn and get stuff going. So Chris Sharp says he works his butt off on weekends and can barely get 50 items up. Are you talking about 50 items up in 2 days? Because that's awesome. If you can get 50 items up in 2 days, you can get to this like 750 item store. What's up, Robert? You should check out 19th Vintage. He's got a cool YouTube channel. So right here, if you're doing 50 items a week, you could get to between part-time and full-time, 750 items. Depending on your items, you could get to, you know, $3,000 to $5,000 net, somewhere in here. Again, this is all hypothetical after 2000. I'm only at this range right here. So I've got a long way to go to figure this out. 50 items a week is legit. I mean, 50 items a week, see? I could even add another column right here. If it is 50 items a week, you're going to be in that 750 item mark. So I don't think anybody here is from Germany, but that would be awesome, other than you. So that I don't have too many international people other than like the UK. I've got a couple of people out there. Yeah, my friend, I don't know if he has a channel yet or not. His name is Eric, and he's awesome. He was one of the first people that I convinced to come and list for me in my living room. And okay, I'll tell you, when I first hired someone, it was like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I have an eBay store. I need someone to help me list. So I'll give you $100 for 8 hours of work, and I want to get up at least 50 listings. And a bunch of people showed up, and all of them were able to do 50 listings. In fact, that weekend, I was able to get up 500 listings with like 7 random people who were just listing in my house as like a listing party. And that is totally a thing you could do. In fact, if I could redo it, I would do that. I would just do a listing party on the weekend. So like Chris Sharp, for example, he does 50 on the week. He does 50 listings per week. So if I was Chris, I might be like, okay, instead of doing 50, I want to do 100 on the weekend and just hire a helper to go there and keep him company while he's doing it. He just doubled the size of his eBay store, in theory. Like that is an awesome way to do it without breaking the bank and without hiring somebody. Reezy's blowing my phone up. Let's see here. Okay, so again, customer service is going to be sort of similar. Shipping time is sort of similar. Listing time is sort of similar. Sourcing time is the big variable. That's why I cannot tell you guys how much you can make on eBay, because I don't know how long it's going to take you to source items. This is really the big thing. If you had a warehouse and people were bringing you stuff, that would be sick. Maybe you could reduce this time by a lot. Let's see. Patrice says she needs to set bigger goal. Well, I mean, I'm just putting in this here for motivation, because there are both of these stores do this. Like, this isn't BS, guys. These are 2 stores that do that. There's 2 stores that sell, I mean, and this isn't even true. Like, it says 4,000 sold a week. They actually sell 4,000 a day. So like, it's way freaking higher than this. It's like 25,000 items a week. So it's pretty intense. It's all good that you had the pause. You can go back and check it out. See, $20 an hour, right, is, if you can, Brian, if you can list like a madman, then you should just start your own eBay business. That's the hardest part. Like, people don't realize how much listing time. So think about this. 23 hours of focused listing to be full-time eBayer, in my opinion, is like this 1,000 item store. This is pretty boss. I'm also thinking that right here in this hobbyist, you should open a basic store. When you get to between the part-time and the full-time, get a premium store. And then I just crossed over the 2,000 mark. I just signed up for a anchor store. How do I figure part-time? Oh, okay. This is how I figured it out. Time. Ellie asked the question, how do I figure part-time versus full-time? I think in 26 hours a week, you could get a 500 item store, depending on where you live. Right, exactly. I have a full-time job. That's not full-time, it's 30 hours a week. So I don't want to quit, because I want to get staff. And in order to pay staff, I've got to put all my eBay profits back into more stuff and more people and build it up. To get to my 10,000 item goal, I need like 30 grand. So I got to just keep pumping the money from the store into it. Tina says, before I started, it was just me. Then it was my daughter. Now my other daughter. What would you suggest listing working only 20? I would say, if you have help, just have people help on the weekend. I know that you get a boost in sales if you list every single day, but that's hard to manage. It would be awesome if you could just list all the items on the weekend, because more important than listing every day is total number of listings. What's up, Australia? Let's see. Wow, 2 a.m. and you're still listing. That's hardcore, Rachel. Great job. Yeah, go list, rewatch this later, or you can just message me at 10konthebay@gmail.com. I'm pretty good about answering questions. I'm a little bit slow nowadays. Let's see. But I would start with weekend listing parties. That's how I would start, because it's been very effective for me. And from those listing parties is where I found my people who list more often. So I now have 4 people that I bought the full setup for. They have lights, they have the setup, they have everything at their house, and they're ready to list. Feels like eBay shuts off traffic to my store. Don't even worry about that. Don't waste your energy thinking about eBay shutting off traffic to your store. There's no reason for them to do that. They are a business. They just want to make as much money as possible. So just keep building your store up, or go back and adjust your listings. I would say it's okay. You know, I don't have good till cancel, because I think good till canceled makes you lazy. I think you should always do 30 days, 30-day listings, and after 30 days, go in and adjust the listing, find out what's wrong, take different pictures, adjust the title, because you want to have consistent sales. And whenever sales slow down, don't grow yet. Go back and see if you can fix it to make sure sales are steady, and then continue growing. I should have taken my own advice on that, but I did what like Drive Time with Dave was saying, that sometimes you get a really good deal on a pallet, which I did. So I ended up buying 5,000 items in one shot. And so it's taking me months to recover from that. Teresa says her goal is 10 per day. You don't meet the goal maybe half the time. I'm trying this idea of clocking in. So like the 2 most important people to me in my life are my girlfriend and my brother. So I just text them, hey, I'm clocking in, and then I'll work on listing. And then when I'm done, I'll say, hey, I clocked out and I did 25 listings or whatever. And that is the way that I keep myself accountable, and because I really care about their opinion more than everything. So like, let me show you guys how I keep track of my goals real quick. So I'm running this group called eBay MBA. And in it, you guys can join. It's a Facebook group called eBay MBA. And if you go to it, like, see, here's all these people that I met on YouTube and Facebook in this spreadsheet, adding their goals. So like, my goal is to list 500 items a week. Now, don't get discouraged, because this is I have staff now, but my goal is to list 500 items a week now. And so I'll just keep track. See, 16, 87, 18. Yesterday I had 157 listings, which might be a record for me. That was a lot. And then I'm keeping track of sold. How many items am I selling? So you can see here straight up, I'm not selling 1%. My busiest days are coming up. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday are my busiest sales days. But you can see here, like, legitimately, you have, different, like, this is why I don't think you should have a listing goal of 10 per day, because every day is so different. I would do a weekly goal, Teresa, if you can. So if you join my group, you can join this thing. You can put in your weekly goals, and then your eventual goal, and then what do you want to do to reach that goal. So like, I want to build a listing station. And then once I build this listing station, everybody that works for me will have the same listing station at their house so that they can list. And the reason why I pay $2 a listing, which is more than I need to, is because I want them to do it at their house. So Brian had said back in Brian Kingsbury says he wants to go to Washington and come to the Bay Area, and he would list like a madman for me for 20 bucks an hour. Now here's the thing. I want to do $20 an hour, but I want Brian to do it at his house and not use any of my space and electricity and stuff like that. So it's like the perfect job for somebody hustling at home. That's what I'm trying to create for people. So I want to build this listing station that I can basically say, okay, I'm going to deliver this listing station to your house. It's going to have all the supplies on it. Also, here's another tip to help you guys stay accountable. My group is paid, but you pay whatever you want. So like, if you join my Facebook group and you get onto this thing, you recommit to your goal. So it's $1. So say you pay $1 and you're like, I want to do 100 this week or 300 or whatever. And you pay that money, you're basically committing to yourself, okay, I'm going to do this. And I don't want your money if you fail. Like, please, like, actually hit your goal. That's the whole point of this. Where do I get the money from my endeavor? I started with $1,000 in October, and I just don't use any of the eBay money. Thanks, Robert. So my $1,000 I've just reinvested over and over and over and over again. And when I first started, I had time to do the sourcing. Let me go back to the other. When I first started, let's see if I can go back out of the. What's up, guys? Let me look at the question. So yeah, when I first started, I started with $1,000, and then I reinvested that over and over again, and now I have probably 40 grand worth of stuff. So from reinvesting over and over again. I did not have a nest egg. My parents are like horrible with finances, so like I wish my parents could help me, but they need help themselves. So I have the opposite. I have a reverse nest egg. I've got to pay them. Let's see here. Did I get everybody's questions? Your 6-year-old has been sick since Saturday. I'm sorry to hear that. It's hard to get back to listing. See, again, that's why I think even though listing every day sounds good, it's really hard, especially if you have kids. The key for me is higher cost per item. Michael is right. You can have 250 items in your store and make a bank if you just have expensive items. But again, then you need the money to buy expensive items. So I reinvest 100%. So I don't live on my eBay income at all. QuickBooks is an awesome tool. I use GoDaddy bookkeeping. Yeah, Brian, shoot me an email, 10konthebay@gmail.com. I'm looking for more like stay-at-home moms. The reason why I say that is not because I'm sexist, but I just find that women work better than men. So pretty much in anything. Sharon says you need to up your listing speed. Yeah, I have an awesome tip. You should look at my last video, but time every process that you do and then write down everything that you do and then have somebody else look at it. So even me, like if you were to say measuring takes this long, photographing takes this long, listing takes this long, and I do these 20 things, then email it to me, I'll look at it and I'll be like, oh, yeah, you're spending way too much time measuring, or you're taking way too many photos. I take 4 photos a item for the most part. Wait, why do you like me more now? Let's see here. Should I jump in the bins if I run out of capital? I mean, I'm shopping at the bins, so it's a lot more work, but it's doesn't cost anything. It's basically free. I mean, if you guys have bins near you, you should take advantage. It's a lot of work, but it helps you build up your capital. Like, I'll tell you for sure, if I get to 10,000 items, I probably won't sell clothing anymore because I'll have the money to sell something better. Oh, you're a feminist. No, I mean, like, I just think that, like, my girlfriend is a lot smarter than me in pretty much every single category. So, the thing though, okay, here's something interesting though. I do think men list faster. So that's not necessarily better, but they do list faster. What's up, Ryan? How often do I find errors in the listings? 3% of the time I find errors. So I just eat it. I used to review it more diligently, but I don't anymore because their defect rate is less than 3%, which is good enough. Yeah, that's true. I'm kind of a feminist. My girlfriend wants to be an independent woman and be able to make it on her own, but she also wants to be like a trophy wife that does Pilates, right? So she's trying to do both, which is fine. For me, I don't want to be a trophy husband that does Pilates. That doesn't sound interesting to me. I want to just make money. Let's see. No, I mean, I had this shirt returned because it was coral, not orange, and you know, I just took the hit, and then eBay ended up giving me my restocking fee anyway. Yeah, the girls take a lot longer to list, but they make less mistakes. So they have more attention to detail, but they think too much. So one girl, I mean, all the girls that listen to me all listen to podcasts or something while they're listening. I just show them, hey, look at this picture, it's blurry. Or like, why did you leave this word in here? Or actually, I'll tell you how I coach. I just tell them what I fixed. That's it. I don't say you're stupid or I'm not mean to them. I just tell them what I would do differently. That's all. Let's see. How's my sourcing going? I mean, can you guys see me? Let's see. My late shipment rate. I don't know on Rhino. You gotta make sure that it gets scanned into the post office. How do I manage slow moving products? I don't really. I just I lower the price maybe a couple bucks every 30 days. But yeah, I am sourcing different stuff. Like here's a bunch of purses. I don't know if you guys can see me or not. Yeah, I'm going to start selling a 30 category. I mean, I have been, but right now I'm focusing on getting what I have listed. You guys have death piles. I have like a death mountain. Exactly. So Michael has a good point of training my eye and trying to see through all the junk. Excuse me. That has been a tip from a lot of big eBay sellers telling me that I need to basically keep sourcing as much as possible and just get rid of the cheap stuff. How important is it to keep descriptions uniform? I think it's important for speed. I don't think it's important that much other than like what brand it is, what the measurements are. saying it's just in good condition, you might as well not have a description if you're going to put good condition, because that is pointless. That's not searchable by Google. No one searches in good condition shirt. You're going to search in Ralph Lauren, double XL. Those are things you want in your description, not something that's like an opinion, like good condition. Yeah, or you can do a scan form when you print your labels off eBay and have your post office worker scan the one item for all the items. What kind of watch am I wearing? It's an iWatch with a G-Shock case. So I like G-Shocks, but iWatch is more useful. Let's see. Yeah, I just lower my price every little bit, but not really. Most of my stuff is already really cheap. Right now, my average sale price, including shipping, is 24 bucks. So it's not a lot. Vineyard Vines in Pendleton. I mean, if you're selling Vineyard Vines in Pendleton, your average sale price is a lot higher than 24 bucks. Is it smart to keep all eBay sales money in PayPal? I'm not a CPA, but I recommend withdrawing it into a business account. And I recommend not living off of eBay money. I leave like 500 bucks in my PayPal account and I withdraw the rest. I agree. Michael says training your eye will enable you to source more places. I don't have a sourcing problem right now. I just have a logistics. Actually, I don't necessarily have any problems right now. I just have a shitload of work to do. Let's see here. Oh shit, Rake and Profit is live. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. If you guys have any questions, hit me up, 10konthebay@gmail.com. I wholesale right now, but we can go over that in a different video. See you guys.